All right, last two questions. These come from Patrick, Twitter handle PDubs, PDubs13, if you will. He is our CF Montreal correspondent on Twitter, for lack of a better term. Always, anytime we tweet about Montreal, he's always out there providing really great takes and comments and questions. So I reached out to him and got some questions, CF Montreal themed. Sorry, let me go back real quick before we finish that. Rams Review Pod, thank you so much for your questions and for being a part of our first interview for season 3. We had a really great chat with you, 3 weeks ago now, about all things MLS viewed overseas, ways that MLS can grow, kind of bouncing off of those ideas. We really appreciate your question. It was kind of short notice. I reached out to him about an hour ago, so they got back really quick and really appreciate it. Thanks so much for being a part of our road to 100, and we look forward to working with you again real soon. So back to Patrick here. Like I said, CF Montreal correspondent. He wants to know what do we think Jordi Mihailovic's ceiling is, and if he should be on the men's national team rosters. We kind of talked about the second part already. I do think he should be on the roster, if not the World Cup roster, definitely leading the Nations League for sure. What is his ceiling? I think his ceiling is as high as anybody in the attacking midfield. The moon. The moon. For lack of a better term, the moon. He will be on the plane with FC Cincinnati, of course. No, but in all seriousness, I think of any true number 10 in the system right now, I think he's got the highest ceiling. I think that he sees the game brilliantly. I think he's got really good movement off the ball. He creates his own space. He creates his own goals. Good running into channels, good running into space. I think he's got a lot of really good qualities that go hand in hand with being a great number 10. The issue is we use like a 2-man 8-10 system, and it's kind of funky. So does he fit well in there? I don't know. But definitely should be on the roster at some point. But his ceiling is as high as anybody's in recent memory for pure number 10s from the men's national team.
I mean, he 100% should be on the roster in some capacity. The only issue is we don't play with a number 10. I mean, he can clearly play as an 8, so he still gets in regardless, especially because even though Montreal are 6th right now, without him, they'd be 10th. He's having just a ridiculous season. There's a reason I captained him last week for fantasy, or 2 weeks ago, because he's just really good. I think he's probably part of that second wave of our national team coming through now. So the first one you think of Pulisic, McKinney, Zimmerman, that kind of the older young kids, if that makes sense.
Yep.
And then the second group with would be Mihailovic, Musa, Pivak, all those kind of the truly young guys that are now just starting to second wave make it through.
I would say right now at this moment, I think Sebastian Driussi is the best player in MLS, but I think 1B is Jordi. So I mean, he's playing out of his mind this season, as you guys had mentioned. I think his ceiling, honestly, I would almost say on par with what Brendan Aronson has done. I think he could easily jump to Europe. I think he could be just as successful, maybe even more. I think he should absolutely be on the World Cup roster. Whether he will or will not, that is up to our best friend Greg. But I think he should absolutely be there. He's played phenomenally this season, and like Adam said, without Jordi, I would be afraid to see where Montreal would be, because they have They're in great form right now, but the start of the season was a wreck. So yeah, I hope he gets a move to a team where he gets game time, because I definitely see him being successful in Europe as well with the right system in place.
I think you'll figure out what they're like without him in just a few months here, because I can't imagine he sticks around much longer.
Yeah, agreed.
Final question, and then we'll wrap this thing up. What should Montreal be addressing in the summer window? What do they need to go shopping for?
A team.
Bruh.
A back line. Realistically, assuming Jordy leaves, someone to replace him as a creative midfielder. As much as I love Lassi Lapalainen, he's not that guy.
He plays the left back, bro.
I know that I don't know what's going on with Montreal, but yeah, they just need help everywhere.
They need true wingbacks if they're going to play a wingback system. We talked a little bit about the rarity that you can make a winger a defensive winger, and how much easier it is to make a true defensive back, a defensive wing back. Lapalainen's okay. I just don't think he's making that transition as well as they thought he would. So they definitely need to do that. I don't want to be this guy, but Sebastian Breza has been our worst player of the week for like 3 of the 7 weeks we've done this. Probably want to address that or give Pantemis his job back. Obviously, if Jordy leaves, got to replace him. But yeah, those are my, like I said, the system works better with players that fit it. I think they're trying to force a system that doesn't quite work. Need to get, like I said, Alistair Johnson's a great wing back. The other side is Orhan Basong, who's not so much there. Sometimes you play Kamal Miller out there, who's even less out there. Also, somebody to make Joel Waterman ride the bench for the rest of his career.
Yeah. Something not player related that they should do is buy a new field, because I texted Andrew when they were playing, I want to say Vancouver, and on TV it looks like they're just playing on cement. It looks like, if you guys are old enough to remember the original FIFA Street, it looks like they're playing on that, and they just kind of like CGI'd grass onto a street.
Yeah.
Please get a new stadium, because my knees hurt watching them run on that. There's a reason Thierry didn't ever want to play for you guys.
Yeah, totally fair. Connor?
I think they need a striker. I think Mason Toy's hurt right now. Kai Kamara is great for depth, but I don't think he should be your starting striker. I think if they went and grabbed someone who can fill the role of when Drogba is here, I think that would be phenomenal for them, especially if they manage to hold on to Jordy, whether that's like they sell him and then loan him back for the rest of the season or whatever. Because it would be useful for Jordy to finish out the MLS season, because it rolls right into the World Cup. So maybe a team buys him and loans him back. If you can have Jordy and then a Drogba striker up top, I think Montreal will score endless goals this season. And then obviously, like you said, you got to address the back line and clean it up a little bit. I think adding some wing backs would help, and probably shoring up the center backs. But yeah, I think to add on to what you guys had mentioned, I would say striker as well. It could be a good position. I don't know how long Mason Toy's out, because Toy was good for them when he was playing, but I know he's hurt right now.
Think of who would be a good older striker, and for whatever reason, the only name I can think of is Olivier Giroux.
That's exactly who I was thinking of too.
I don't know how well that would work, because he's not the physical specimen that Drogba was, but he's a natural finisher, so all he needs is help and someone to get him the ball. And he speaks French, so that works already.
Yeah, I figure if Jordy was feeding him shots all day, I'm sure he would score plenty of goals.
Yeah.
Yeah, can't disagree with those either.